So General Dees, you've got the Resilience God-Style training game. Tell us how it came about and tell us how to make it work.
Sure. Well, it started with our grandchildren, and we did these age-appropriate object lessons, teaching them about resilience. I think that's a critical life skill, cradle to grave. And so we can't teach it too early to our children. And after we worked with our grandchildren a bit, we saw that maybe there's a game here. Let's make this learning fun also. It's sort of a Monopoly-type format, and yet it's far more intentional, far more purposeful, and you play in teams, you don't play individually, so nobody feels on the spot, and you're competing with somebody else in a fun, dynamic way. So with that as background, you want me to tell you a bit about it?
Yeah, how did we play?
Yeah, sure. The first thing is that there's the content base, and the content base is the Resilience God-Style book, and then there's a study guide. There's also a video series if people want to really dive deeply into the content. This content establishes some competencies, and these competencies are depicted here. Basically, it's the phases of the resilience life cycle that's depicted in the book, and it's before the storm, during the storm, after the storm looking back, after the storm looking forward, and then learn and adapt. And as you will see, there's subcategories underneath those. Those are representatives of certain techniques or actions you can take to assist you with that particular function. So with the competencies in mind, you have on the back of that a facilitator guide. It gives some tips. I won't read through that. You just need to know it's in the box. The game comes in this box, and the hardest part of playing the game is unwrapping it, because they went crazy to protect it. It's good, but you have to unwrap about 12 different packages of this cellophane. And once you get that off, then you take the engine, and then this is the engine. These cards come wrapped in things, but when you get it all unwrapped, you have 6 different sections. You have the 5 competencies as described, and those 5 competencies coincide with 5 spots on the board. You see on the board you have before the storm. Okay, that's first competency, and then that one's during the storm, and so forth. You got 5 of those around the horn, and then these directions also in the box walk you through, and they give you some quick game tips and so forth. Let me fast forward. This is the engine. Right. After you organize the engine, you'll have the 5 competencies. As you see, you have like before the storm as a competency, and then you have a bunch of questions behind before the storm. I'm just picking an example here. We won't actually play a game, but in large measure. But it says, "Football coach, this is worth $15, Kevin," and you're there with your daughter and you're a team. Okay. It says, "Football coach Lou Holtz said, it's not the load that breaks you, it's the way you carry it. Name 2 sources of support that help you carry the loads of life." Okay, and then so we have a timer, and we turn over this timer, and you and your partner think about it. You try to come up with the best answer. And when you're ready, you say, okay. And while you're doing it, a key to this is the other teams. Let's say there's 3 other teams, 2 people each. They're thinking of the same thing, because they know if you don't get the answer right, then they get to try for the money. Or if you don't get a complete answer, then they get some of the money. So with that, we'll just say time's up. What comes to mind for you?
Faith and family.
Faith and family. Okay, well, that's good. See, you turn the card over for the facilitator or the parent, and you say faith, family, friends, pastors, chaplains, counselors, community support agencies, and others. And then there's a source here listed for the information, for the source of the answer and so forth. Okay, so I think that's a good, but Kevin, I'm going to give you $10 for that out of the 15.
Okay.
Okay, so, but now who else? Oh, we have okay, yes, tell us your, oh, okay, good, that's a good answer, thank you, $5 to you. So the point is, everybody's sort of always on edge to get those questions. It's not like you answer and then everybody else goes to sleep.
Right.
You know, they're trying to get money, because at the end, when some corporate entities play this game, the boss will come in at the end of the game, and he'll say, okay, how much money did everybody make? And they say, oh, we got this and this. He'll say, okay, here's the real money. And he'll replace it with the real money.
That's a good incentive.
So yeah, so the point is,
that's how you pay allowance. That's what I'm thinking.
That's right. There's a competitive nature to that. An example, so let's say you're going along and somebody rolls the dice and they go from here and they end up during the storm. Okay, so the facilitator goes to during the storm. Now, something I didn't point out is that the facilitator or the parent ahead of time, you take these cards and maybe you take these during the storm cards and you say, which one would be relevant to our family? This one sounds good because I'm trying to increase the biblical literacy of my children, and this is a biblical question. Okay, so let's say they go to during the storm. This card happens to pop up because I've put it in the deck to pop up. And the question is, describe a biblical character who experienced a life-changing event that galvanized their purpose and direction. I hate to put you on the spot, but you have any idea of a biblical character? This one's worth 20.
Wow. And say it again.
A biblical character who experienced a life-changing event that galvanized their purpose and direction.
Okay, and I'm thinking of Elijah when he had just defeated the prophets of Baal, and now he is desperate for God, and he's hidden in the hiding, and he's looking for God in the storm and all the other things.
That's an incredible answer, Kevin, and to the facilitators and parents of the future, the point is to be enthusiastic. The point is to affirm answers, and that really is a good answer. And so here's $15 of your answer. Now anybody else have any other ideas? And it may be that they don't have them all, so you use it for a teaching moment. Say, okay, that's a good answer that Kevin gave, and somebody else talked about Job with the traumatic loss of family and so forth. But then let's consider some others, team. What do you think? Abraham, Joseph, Moses. Let's see, Esther, becoming queen, the threat of annihilation, speaking truth to power. Elijah, fighting the prophets of Baal. Peter, denying Christ and reaffirming his love. Paul, blindness on the road to Damascus. Jesus, baptism, wilderness, transfiguration, Calvary. So the point is that all of these people are biblical characters with life-changing events that really crystallize their purpose and direction. And then many times it leads to just discussion. And so the facilitators just got to look for the teachable moments and say, well, this is interesting when we see this in the biblical character's life. Now, anybody here for a $5 bonus, would you want to share something in your life that has crystallized your own purpose and direction? And somebody may say, well, when I was in the hospital, or when grandmother died, or when I received this award that showed me I'm really good at something. So the point is that it generates healthy type of discussion around the table. There's lots of other gimmicks to create participation and fun. It's in the interest of Monopoly, you have these cards that you get. So you land on an action challenge square, which would be one like this, action challenge. They pull up a card, it says, you think you are perfect. Okay, lose $5. Okay, so you got to give $5. You get the point. Yeah. Or you get bitter and not better, lose $5. You say yes to Jesus, get $10. Who had to spend the night in the lion's den? This is multiple choice. The Apostle Paul, Daniel, Sylvester Stallone. Okay.
Not Sylvester Stallone. Okay. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, there you go. So you get the point, and you don't do all these at once, but a shepherd boy, David, fought a Philistine giant named Seabiscuit, Goliath, or King Kong. Yeah. So some of them are trivial and sort of fun, light. But when you're talking, maybe you have a 4-year-old around the table. You gauge it to their level of interest and knowledge. I don't think I'll go on. The purpose is that we're in charge of this game as a facilitator, as a parent, and it's a learning exercise. It's to be positive and affirming. And so as a facilitator, as a parent, if you will take this game and make it come alive for your family or for your youth group or for your homeschool section or whatever the application is, then you will find it to be very rewarding. And as I say, resilience, critical life skill, we can't start it too early. The way you get this game, if anybody wonders, is at resiliencegodstyle.com. And you have good instructions, but I'm always glad through the website you can reach me. I'm always glad to coach you on this, and I love doing that. I'm speaking at 2 homeschool conferences this summer to homeschoolers that are learning how to teach their children resilience. So with that, thanks for the opportunity. It's great, and more importantly, I applaud each one of you that are looking at how to apply this game for the benefit of your family and ultimately our nation.
Phenomenal game. Again, you get it at resiliencegodstyle.com.
That's right, yeah. Thank you.
All right.